Hi there, this is Nicole with So Much More in Store, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make an ID wallet. I've already done some of the prep, so I'm just going to be showing you some finishing touches for that. The ID wallet that I'm going to make is called a Kristine ID wallet, and I've made, I don't know, a lot of these, and they're super fun and folks love them. So let me just finish a couple things up here. If you hear some background noise, it's because I've got my window open. It's super duper nice out. And so hopefully no one honks or does anything like that. But bear with me just one second. I'm going to send this to a couple other places. See if I can do that. And if you're joining me, say hello and where you're from. There's a little bit of a lag here, so sometimes I don't always get to see what you're saying until, I don't think it's like a 15-second lag. I'm not really sure. But, so anyway, bear with me one more second. I'm going to send this over to another place. Send this over to this place right here. And there. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is, let me show you an example. So the Kristine ID wallet, here's an example of one that's already made. Her pattern calls for some other things in the back, but I don't use those extra steps. So I just make this really cute. It's like a little ID wallet, kind of reminds me of a Vera Bradley design that I've seen, and it fun stuff. And then it just has this lanyard that you put over your neck, and then you put your ID in it. Like here's my ID, and it fits in here nice and snugly behind my business card. It's not too loose where your ID won't fall out. So anyway, and this lanyard is detachable. It has a lobster clasp, so it comes off really easily. Let me put that back on here. I've already got like I said, I've already got some of the work done, and I'm going to just show you. I've already made the detachable lanyard here. It's a really simple process. The pattern tells you how to do that. I've used this little lobster clasp right here. It's a D-ring, and it's perfect for this. It's a 1/2 inch. The pattern will tell you all about that. And then, like I said, I've done some of the prep work already. And let me show you what we're doing here, if you can see. Okay. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so we've got some of this ID part already done. And then here's my lining right here. Sorry about that. Here's my lining right here. And then here's my outside. I've got to put this vinyl part inside of here. I've got to put my zipper tape, got to fix that all up. And then some things for the D-ring right here. So let me see if I can make this stay without falling. Maybe. No. Okay, well, I'll just have to work and then show you as I get this done. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I've prepped this already, and the steps to prep this are in Michelle's pattern. It's really simple. It looks difficult, but it's not. And so I'm going to turn this right side out and make this part, let me show you, this part of the wallet right here. Let's see if I can do this without it falling. There, okay. So I'm just going to be taking this and turning it. And this part, I think, takes the most time, but it's also confusing if you don't have some type of a visual aid for it. So I'm just using this, it's called, I don't know if you can see it, it's called a purple thang, T-H-A-N-G. I love this. You can use a pencil or anything else, but I like this because it gets the fine points and helps me turn things really easily. I don't know if you guys have this or not. Ever tried it? It's a really handy tool. I use it for lots of things. So I'm just taking this and I'm flipping it. I don't know if any of you have tried making these before. I've made so many that I don't look at the pattern anymore, and so I don't even know if this is what the pattern calls to do, but this is how I've done it. And I'm just going to keep poking and turning. Okay, so I've got it all turned, but it's not at all flat. And so I'm just going to work it. I've got it interfaced, and so it's kind of stiff on both sides. It's got the Shape Flex, or the SF101, and so I'm just going to kind of loosen that up so it does what I want it to. Okay, now that's a little better. That's a little bit better, but it's not flat. Okay, so I'm just going to press it. Let me get my stuff out of the way. I'm going to press that down, get that nice and flat. Let's see if I can push that down without it falling. My tripod wants to do crazy things to me. Okay, so I'm just going to press this down. It's got a really super hot iron here. Now the tricky part is, I'm going to put this is not exactly out right there. The tricky part is getting this piece of vinyl. It's probably impossible to see on video, but this is a little square of vinyl. I've cut it to the measurements, and I'm going to make it fit inside of this, and then I'm going to sew it down. It's kind of dusty, but I can clean that off. So let me see if I can move some of this print out of the way so you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. That's maybe a little bit easier for you to see. It's still hard to see the vinyl. So what I do is I take this vinyl, and my ID part is just sitting here, laying here like this, and I'm just going to start poking it in here. And this takes a few minutes to get each one poked in here nicely. The vinyl is actually larger than the ID part, and that's okay, because you want it to kind of fold inside of there so that when you sew it, that you're sewing it down completely. You don't want that vinyl to come out and then have an opening in your vinyl window. So let me just... There we go. Okay, so now it's all, I don't know if you can tell, but it's all inside of there, captured nicely. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this. I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to sew that down. And so I'm just going to be top stitching right along the edge here of each side. Make sure my stitch length is kind of at a 2.5, I guess. That's what I do. And when I stitch this down, I want to just make sure, or try to make sure, that each side of the vinyl window is in line with each other. That you don't have a bunch of, you can't see the back side of the fabric peeking through the other side of the vinyl window as best as you can. Okay. That was simple enough. Let me clip my little threads here. I'm a thread clipper. Okay. So here is that. Everything's encased. Works really nicely. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to my exterior part right here. So I'm just going to attach it right here. Let me move this down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to, I use my little, I love this little Olfa rotary mat. I don't even know or remember where I got it. I think I got it as a kit or a prize or something like that for a retreat I went to. It's so handy because I love the little measurements on it. It's super handy. I think it came with this little ruler that I'm going to use. Isn't that cute? It's so tiny. Or maybe, I don't remember where I got it. So the measurements kind of tell you in the pattern how to set this out. Let's see which side looks the nicest. I like this side. So I just try to center it up, and this little ruler helps me. 1, 2, 3, and over there. Okay, and so that's kind of centered good enough, I think. And so then I just take a few pins. What do I do with my pins? I take a few pins and I set this down, and I just pin it on each side. I don't want to poke through the vinyl because that will not heal when you puncture the vinyl. I'm just putting pins through each side to hold that in place. I'm going to take it back over to my sewing machine and sew that down. So I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to do some back stitching right here, go all the way around, and do some more back stitching right here. I'm going to leave this top part open so that you can put your ID in there. So let me show you that. Okay. Now I'm sewing closer to the edge of the ID window so that there's enough room to get your ID in there. Just do some pivot sewing here. Kids went back to school last week, and I'm trying to get back into the routine of, I don't know, not being constantly taken away from my sewing machine. We had a great summer, though. We had lots of fun. So just trying to get back into the routine of sewing more often, which I love. Okay, so I've got, let me take my pins out. Okay, so I've got that in there, nice and snug. I'm gonna do a little test here. Get my ID. What did I do with that? Oh yeah. I think I left my ID in this other one. They fit really snugly, which is what you want. You don't want it to be just flying out. So that one fits snugly. Is that a word? Snugly? It fits nice and snug. There we go. Look, it's official. I'm a substitute. There we go. Okay. So that's done. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to prep the zipper. And if you follow me on my Instagram feed, I was kind of showcasing different zippers. I love to showcase different zippers. I have all sorts to choose from. See if you can see some up there. Yeah, all sorts. Okay, so we're going to use this zipper, and I have some little squares of fabric. One of the squares I'm going to use for the zipper ends, and the other square I'm going to use for my D-ring holder. So let's prep those real quick. Super simple how to do those. Push this down and see if it stays without falling. Nope. Maybe, no. I wonder what I need to do to make that stay. I don't know. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Well, I'll just have to show you maybe. Okay. I don't know if you can see over here very well. So I'm taking this square and I'm just going to be folding it in half, pressing it, folding it in half again on both sides and pressing it so that there's no exposed edge. Everything's inside, kind of like that. Okay, we're going to do that on both of them. So there's one. I'm going to do the other one. Like I said, one of these we're going to use for the zipper tape, and the other one we're going to use for the D-ring, which is somewhere. Okay, so here's the other one. So on this one, I'm going to sew along the open edge, and then I'm going to sew on the other side. So just a couple little top stitching right there, and then I'm going to put my D-ring on that. So let me move this back over to my sewing machine. Let's see. I just closed that down on both sides. Super simple. And then I'm going to take my little D-ring. I have a little D-ring here. And I'm just going to look and see which side looks the best for top stitching. I like that side the best. So I'm going to make that show, and I'm going to put the rest of it on the inside. So there's my little D-ring. It's tiny. I'm going to just put a clip on that and save that for just a second later. But then this other part right here, we're going to use this for the zipper ends. Let me show you that. See if I can move down a little bit. Okay, and so basically I'm just going to be cutting this in half, and then I'm going to be taking my zipper and I'm going to be cutting this down to the correct measurements, and those measurements can be found in the pattern. See if I can and right here. I know that I could get a zipper that's smaller, but I hate getting my blades caught up in those end pieces, the metal pieces. So I get like 6-inch zippers for these. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these little ends and we're going to put them over this end like that. I'm just going to clip it until I get over to the machine. And we're going to do the other end. I like this side with the purple better. You can choose. Okay, and then, so just super quick, I'm going to go to the machine and I'm going to sew a single stitch over here and a straight single stitch on this side right here. Do that real quick. The other day I got a huge order of zippers from my favorite zipper shop, and I asked for one of every single color that she had, and then she labeled them for me so that when I use one I can order another one. So I constantly have this list of zipper colors that I need to order, which is handy. I just love having different colors so that I can, you know, match the project perfectly. I'm kind of obsessed with coordinating zippers. Okay, so that's done. Cute. All right, now our next step, let's see if I can get this down, for heaven's sakes, it's getting worse. The next step is going to be I'm going to put the D-ring and my little tag on the back. This is one of the back, this is the back piece, because the front piece is here. Here's the front piece, here's the back piece. So I'm going to put the D-ring, oh my gosh, there it is. The D-ring and my tag on this. Let me get my tag. I put a question out to the group the other day on where they get their tags, because this is my last one. Oh my gosh, how did I let that happen? And you know, these things take forever to come in, and I have a show coming up. I don't know why I do this to myself. So yeah, I had to pay for rush shipment and all that stuff, so. And I got different ones this time, so hopefully everything comes out okay. Alright, so I'm going to lay this out. It helps me to lay this out. I don't know if you can see very well. Okay. Oh, this keeps wanting to fall. I wish I knew how to work this tripod, because it just wants to fall. Okay, so I'm going to have to show you this way. Okay, so I'm going to, it's basically going to go to, here's the top open part, and here's the back. Here's the top open part, and here's the back. And so what I want to do is, like this, I want to have my D-ring come over here and my tags behind it. So, but I'm going to attach that to the back, and I'm going to attach it right over here on this side. Okay? And so I'm going to measure down I'm going to measure down. I can't remember what it tells me. I think it's like 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to measure down, and I'm going to put my D-ring right here like this. I know it looks backwards, but believe me, that's how you do it. And then I'm going to put my tag right under that. Let's see if I can. I don't know if you can see or not. So I'm just going to clip that here, and then I'm going to put my tag and make sure that, you see how my label shows outwards? You want to make sure that your label is facing you looking up this way, otherwise it'll be backwards. Not that it's a bad thing, but you know, details. Okay, so then I'm going to sew that down, and then I'm going to do some more prep stuff here. The ID wallet, I sell these to lots of teenagers. They love these for their school ID, and I sell these to college students and even business women that, you know, require IDs for their jobs. So my point is though that this area right here, this area gets lots and lots of, I don't know, it gets lots of action. So you're going to have to reinforce this. What I do is I have a little scrap bin. Here's my little scrap bin. One of my friends made me this out of jeans. Isn't it cute? So I have a bunch of little pieces, leftover pieces of Shape Flex. I kind of keep this stuff and I don't throw it away. So I'm going to trim this off, and I'm going to iron it to reinforce these ends where there's going to be lots of action on the little wallet, because I don't want to sell something and have it fall apart like in 2 months just because, you know, the customer uses it. You want them to use it, right? So I'm just going to clip some of this off like little squares. That's why I keep this stuff. And I eventually will use everything. Don't you say that about all your scraps? Yeah, it's kind of scary. Okay, so right here is where my hardware is, and so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put a double shot of SF101 right there. I'm going to iron it down. I'm going to do the same thing on my front part here, just because I'm obsessed with being, I don't know, quality. So I'm going to do it on this side and this side too. So let me just do that real quick. I guess I could have prepped that before the video, but you know, whatever. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so I gotta be careful because this fleece can get gross on your iron if you leave it on too long. So I'm just putting the fusible side down, and when I say double shot, I'm just putting 2 little pieces of Shape Flex on that right there. Okay, there's that piece, and then I'm going to do it right here on this side. It doesn't call to do this, it doesn't call for it in the pattern, but I substitute at, or I used to substitute at the local middle school here, and one of the students that I made this for came up and said that her little thing came off, and luckily, you know, I'm right here in town that I could fix that for her. You know, gave it back to her the next day, but after that I started doing that little touch-up. So there it is on both sides. Okay, now everything is prepped and ready to go for assembly. So what we're going to do is, this is my inside right here. I've got my outside and my zipper. So I'm going to take, let me do this, it's a little easier to see. I'm going to make sure that the window opening is up, because that would not be good if you installed it like that. So make sure that the window opening is up, and then this is the zipper right side with the head facing up, and so you're going to put right sides together, right side of your zipper facing down, and then facing there, like just like that. So right sides together. I always, let's see if I did this the right way. On this, if you'll see on this wallet, I like to have things close in the area where the ring is, so that when they hang it around their neck, that in case they leave it open, their change is not going to fall out. So I like to keep it like this, the zipper head where the ring is. So to make sure that that happens, just look at where your zipper is and put it right there. I'm going to open it a little bit because I'm preparing myself for that when I take it to the machine. And then I just make sure that I've got ends open on both sides. I've got about the same amount of room on both sides. And then I'm just going to take my little Wonder Clips and clip those. And clip that. And then I'm going to take my lining and put right sides, so everything is kind of sandwiched together. You can't see the zipper anymore, but I'm going to look along the raw edge here and make sure that everything lines up. Kind of wonky there. Okay, so everything is lining up. And then I'm going to go back to my sewing machine. I'm going to put my zipper foot on. And then I'm going to sew along the top edge here. And this tape, the zipper tape, will allow me to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance if I follow along the edge of the tape there. So let me switch out my zipper foot to my zipper foot. And I'm also going to change my bobbin thread, because when I do this top stitching, like when you open up your wallet, see on this one, I like my threads to match my fabrics. And right now I have white in there, and it would really show up on my blue. Not that that's bad, but I like to match things as much as possible. So I'm going to switch out my bobbin real quick. I'll probably do that another time here when I sew things together. I'm always switching threads, but you know, you do what you got to do. Okay, so I've got that all set. Oops, let me grab my thread here. Really? Oh my. Let's try that again. Let me grab my thread. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to sew this down. Just a good view. I'm sorry that you can't be closer. If no one's ever sewn a zipper, I'm sure that there might be a few. Alright, so this is tricky. It's such a small zipper. I feel my head right here, so I'm just going to get as close as I can to it. Put my zipper or my needle in the down position. I'm going to open this up and move my zipper head out of the way so that I can continue and it will still be a nice straight line. Okay, so here we go. Got it sewn. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open it up and we're going to iron things down. Okay, so I'm going to open this up and then I'm going to iron this away from this area here, and I'm going to flip this over and iron away from this area here. But you have to be super careful, because if you get the hot iron on this vinyl, you're going to have to redo this part because it'll melt it and ruin it. So you just have to be careful. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to get that out of the way. I'm going to just press that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back over to the machine. I'm going to do my top stitching now. And so I've got my blue bobbin in for this color thread right here. So I'm just going to top stitch real quick before I add the second side. I get really close to the edge. Get this out of the way. I think I may have gotten too close to the edge on that one. There's my top stitching. Now we're going to put the second side on. Okay, and so we want to make sure that our hardware is where it needs to be. And if we were to open it up like that, that's the way it needs to be. So I'm going to put it this side like this. So right side against the zipper tape. And if you look up, this is where my hardware is, right here. So I'm going to just line that up on the sides, making sure that everything's lined up, and then lining it up on the edge of the zipper tape on the top. I'm going to clip that real quick, flip this over and put the lining in it. And then, of course, the right sides together on the lining. Okay. There we go. That looks good. Everything's lined up on the top. I'm going to take it back over to the machine and, oops, that's not lined up. Take it back over to the machine and just do a 1/4 inch seam allowance with my zipper foot on the top. Okay. Now my zipper head's all the way over here on this side, so I don't have to switch that out for a little bit. Now I need to reach up. I'm going to lift up my presser foot here and move that zipper head to the back. Get that out of the way and then put everything back down and continue. There we go. We're almost done. Okay. So now I'm going to press this again and do top stitching on that again. Push this down a little bit. I'm going to close this zipper up. It's looking cute. I had a real deliberation on how or what color I was going to use on the zipper. Because, I mean, look, I could have done purple. I could have done this turquoise. Could have done white. All sorts of options. But since my interior was blue, I chose blue. Lots of choices. Okay, so I'm going to just do another top stitch real quick to get this side pressed down, and then we're going to put it together. Move this back over here. Let's see. There we go. What are you guys going to be sewing today? You making any bags or anything like that for anybody or yourself? I'm going to make a few of these and get these sent out today. And then I'm going to be making some essential oil bags. Those will be fun. Okay, so those are done. That's all nice and tacked down with the top stitching. I just want to make sure that my zipper opens and closes without any problems, that it doesn't get stuck in the fabric, and that's why we do our top stitching there. And then, so now we're going to just put this all together. So I make sure that you open your zipper, number one, because if you don't open your zipper and you close this all up, you're going to have one heck of a time turning this right side out. So open your zipper, make sure that that's good and open, and then you're going to match up the right sides, the exteriors, and then you're going to match up the interiors. So I'm going to get my little wonder clips. And I'm going to just, first I start with the corners. I just pin the corners together, or clip the corners together, I should say. Get those done. Okay. Now, on this part, everyone's like, well, should I do it like this, or should I do it like this, right? So if you look inside, you want your little, can you see? If you look inside, you want this little zipper tape end, this little zipper end, you want that pointing up, right? Like on this one, so you have it pointing up. So make sure that it's up and away from your exterior fabric. And then I just kind of pin that down. Same on the other side. So I'm going to be pushing this little zipper end up and away from the exterior fabric. Okay, got that down. All right, so everything's pinned together. I'm going to go back to my machine. I'm going to do a little back stitch right here, go all the way around, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and end right here. And I got to get my zipper foot off here. Okay. And I could change my thread, but I don't think I need to. Well, now I'm going to keep my bobbin blue because I'm going to have to change my top thread to blue when I close it up. So I'm going to just start over here, give myself a little back stitching. I'm going to go around a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now when I get to this area right here, it's kind of thick. It's not too terribly thick, but it's thick enough. So I'm just going to take my time. I'm not using a jeans needle or anything like that because it's not that thick. Now this is the area, where is it at? This is the area where my tag and the D-ring is, so I'm going to back stitch on this area. I know that I've got it reinforced with that interfacing, but I'm just going to back stitch it and just to, you know, triple check. I ship my stuff all over the place, and I don't want to have any problems with any of the stuff that I send out. So far, 100% satisfaction. Okay, almost done. We're on the home stretch. Okay. Now I've got my, well, I got all sorts of loose threads going here. It's driving me crazy. Now before I start turning this, I like to do a little ironing prep. I'm going to open this up and prep it for when I sew it together. I'm just folding that back a little bit. It's a 1/4 inch. It's actually less. I didn't do very good on my seam allowance, but that's okay. This is not a quilt. It is a little wallet, so it's okay. It's inside too, anyway. Okay, so I've got that done, and I'm going to clip my little corners here just to reduce the bulk when I turn it. I don't want to clip the threads. I don't want to clip those threads, but I'm going to clip really close to it just to reduce the bulk when I turn it. And then I'm going to reach inside. And when you do this for the first time, you're going to think, oh, I'm going to be bending that vinyl all up. It's going to be terrible. But it's actually, it's okay. There's a way that you can press the vinyl to make it flat and straight without actually putting your heat directly onto the vinyl. And I'll show you that here at the end. So it looks like it's not working, but it is. Just keep working it. Okay. Almost. There we go. It's starting to look like an ID wallet. What a fun little pattern this is. I love the blues and the purples and the greens. Okay. Now this is where I really love using my little purple thing, because my finger, I can't really fit it in there easily. Let me get this out too. I have to poke these sides out and these sides out. So I'm going to use my purple thing, and I'm going to reach in here, and I'm going to just poke those corners out. See how easily that gets in there? Sometimes this little purple thing gets caught up in the interfacing. I've got fusible fleece in there, and so it wants to grab a hold of that, but get these edges out. Cute. I'm going to get this little corner here. One more corner. Okay. Super cute. Almost done. All right, so now I'm just going to sew this down, this little opening here. This was our turning area. So I'm just going to press that, and I need to sew that down. But I'm going to change my top thread because I'm obsessed with detail. So let's see, we'll use this thread. Blue is my favorite color, but you'd think I'd have like 70 spools of blue thread, but I have the least amount of blue thread. It's ridiculous. Okay, so let me just thread this real quick. So we're just gonna close up the interior here. And this little wallet, oh, I'm gonna have to wear my glasses for this. This little wallet's almost done. I've got 2 other wallets to make after this one today. And then, like I said, I was gonna work on some essential oil pouches. I'll show you those in just a second. I'm not gonna make one here because I'm not really good at those. Well, I'm too nervous to show you how to make those because I've only been making them for a couple days. But they're fun and cute, and I can't wait to make more. I got them all cut and prepped. Okay, so now I'm just going to stick this in here, and then I'm going to give it a good pressing, and I'm going to clip any stray threads, and we'll put our lanyard on it. Where'd that go? It's down here. Okay. Oh, stray thread. So now I'm just going to press this down. Now my vinyl is, it's not messed up at all. See how that is? It's not messed up. Oh, I see another stray thread. I'm obsessed with stray threads. Okay. See, that works out good. Let's put our little lanyard on it. This is so cute. How cute is that, right? And I love this little lobster clasp, how it swivels. I'm going to put it on. Yeah, that'll work out just fine. Where did my ID go? I think oh, here it is. So they'll put their ID in here, and it fits nice and snug. And then, I don't know, for them, they use the little barcode, and they, you know, ring in their lunch or, you know, whatever they need their little barcode for. But isn't that cute? It's a great thing to wear to, when you're traveling. All sorts of great things for this. This is, oh, let me show you the pattern. It is the, here, I need to look at my lap. This is the Kristine ID wallet by Michelle Burke of Uniquely Michelle. Super great pattern. I love it. She has, I don't know if you can see, on hers it has this card slot with a flap on the front. So that's what she puts on the back of hers. I don't do that. I just leave it blank because that takes a lot of time. It's super cute, but I make a lot of these, so I don't have time for all that. So anyway, everyone, no one wants that, the ones that I sell, but that's a really good option. So the pattern shows you how to make, you know, these, and then it also has that on the back. And then before, let me put this up or I'll forget I'm wearing it. Before I let you go, I wanted to show you what I've been making. See if I can reach over here without burning myself on the iron. Okay, I've been making these cute little, and this is my sample, so don't judge for the fabric placement, but isn't it cute? It's a little dumpling pouch, and you put your essential oils in it, so it's super cute. I've got little skulls in here, but and you can't even see. I should have thought about this, but you can't even see where I put the little things at, but there's little fabric pockets in here, and you put your little essential oils in here. Isn't that cute? Anyway, I'm gonna make a bunch of these because those will be fun. to make. I got that pattern from michellepatterns.com. I think I found it on Pinterest or something like that. It's super simple, really easy. The prep, I've done prep for it already. I'm going to be making a lot. So I've got a lot cut out already. This is what it looks like. Anyway, those will be fun. So anyway, thanks for joining me and watching with me as I made that ID wallet. Don't forget to share this video with your friends, and if you have any questions, leave those in the comments, and I'll be looking back. I'll be looking back through the comments because it's really hard for me to see those while I'm doing this live. I need to wear my glasses, which I try to only save for threading my machine. So thanks for joining me, you guys. We'll talk to you later.